welcome back to Mr. Obsolete's Vintage Homesteading. Well, today's exciting video is going to be an unboxing. This was kind of a surprise package because I wasn't expecting it. But anyway, in the saw community, we all try and help each other out with different things. And the guy that sent this is Andrew from Canada. I call it Canada because that sounds more like a more exotic place. But anyway, what do you think? Anyway, Ontario, Canada. He's a big vintage chainsaw enthusiast. He has a homestead, old tractors. He's a family man, but he's just a really good person. He sent saws to people all over the place. So this, I have an idea of what it is, but we're gonna start pulling it out and see. But I'll talk more about it. So let's see. Well. Oh man, sent me a new hat here. It's got a big Pioneer on it because he knows I'm a big Pioneer fan. He is too. Oh, look at that, a Pioneer t-shirt, a P60. That's one saw I don't have, I'd really like to have. 20-to-1 garlic gas. He's got some really neat stuff. We'll get these out. It's a Butler Outdoors Canada. That's his channel. I'd recommend watching it. So anyway, let's see what else we got here. Well, it looks like a part of a poulan. Everybody that watches my channel knows what a big fan I am of them. The side cover. Just pulled out of here. Basically just like the Wild Thing, only not branded as a Wild Thing. What he does is make stickers. There's a nice Pioneer sticker, a couple of them. And give her the garlic. That's like give it the throttle. Some more give her the garlics and stuff, and then kindness wins, and you bet it does. Like I say, he's a good guy. Well, let's see what else we got in here. He's a guy like me. Use what you have, so he's using feed sacks to ship this stuff in. Pretty ingenious, eh? Well, here's one that's pretty much complete. Might be enough pieces here to make one. I think all this started was because on my channel, I talk about different saws that I like and ones I don't think too much of, and I've been ranking on the low-end pull-in saws, or poulans as I call them, for quite a while. And actually a few people even took minor offense to it, thought I was being too harsh on them. But the thing is, being a mechanic, knowing the good and bad and stuff, if something's bad, I'm going to tell you it's bad whether you like it or not. But anyway, several of them brought up a good point though, that these little saws got a lot of people into using chainsaws that normally wouldn't, because they were sold at hardware stores and box stores and stuff like that. So you'd be going down the aisle and say, oh man, look at that, a chainsaw, I need to do some tree work and blah blah blah, and it's only $79.95. I better buy one. And then what would happen, 50% of them would run good and last for a while, and the other 50% would never hardly run at all. And the problem they had was quality control issues. So if you got a Monday or Friday saw, what would happen, and you weren't any mechanically skills, you just gave up on them and quit using chainsaws because you thought all chainsaws are the same. But if you got one and you had a little savvy on it and stuff and figured it out, it'd give you good service. And here's a really perfect example. These are all low-end models. These are later. This is an early one. This is branded as a skill saw. They were sold under a whole bunch of different brands, but they're all basically the same. Sometimes the colors were different. This is an early one. It's got a 1/4-inch pitch chain and just a hand guard. But this was given to me by one of my best buddies ever. His name was Leonard, and he had 60 acres of trees, and windstorms would come up, knock trees down or branches, and he and his wife and me and others would go out and help him do firewood. And he really liked these saws, but what happened was that he found out, like me, after working on them for people and having a few of them myself, he either got a good one or no good one. So he would buy 2 of these because he knew one would probably run good and the other would end up just being a part saw because it was always something wrong with it. And that's the same thing I found on working on these saws for customers too. But this one, it was pretty old when I got it, and this was the last one he had, and I used it for years and years. They're always finicky, but you can still do a lot of work with them, which I did. But it finally got to the point where the crank seals and stuff are gone bad on it, and so I've just decided to retire it. But like I say, for a small saw like this, it's handy, it's light, and if you can figure out how to keep them how to run, you'll get some work done with them. So here's a couple others. There again, this is a later saw, but a lot of internal parts are the same on them. And this one was made in 2000, and how I ended up with it is, there again, I was ranting and raving about what crappy saws pull-ins are, or Poulans. So Dan from Kane Custom Garage in the Pacific Northwest, that man, I'm gonna give him a trick. I'm gonna trick him. I'm gonna send this saw over as a joke, and I bet he can't get it running. Well, you're wrong. You've seen it in lots and lots of videos, but I want to thank Dan for being generous and donating this. And in stock form, you can go back and watch my videos. It was terrible, but I did some simple modifications, and it's actually quite usable. It's powerful for its size and whatnot, handy and light. So anyway, but here's its pet name because you know what it's made of. This was still a low-end model based on a 25 model like the last one I just showed you. This one's 38cc, it's a little bit bigger displacement. This one has hardly any use on it, and I have another smaller Craftsman branded one too. The same thing. Neither one had hardly any time on them, and they're unreliable. No matter what I do to them, they'll run good one time. Next time you take it out, don't want to start, you get it started, doesn't want to run good and stuff, and then all of a sudden it just runs great again. But say quality control issues were the problem with these saws. This one's kind of unusual. It has automatic oiling and has a overriding oil button on it too, which is pretty unusual for a cheapo saw. And it had a chain sharpener on it that Oregon used to make too, and that was a failure, but they just brought them back again after years of not making them. So anyway, the thing that the company has changed hands a lot of times. Be right back here. This old kind of beater here is a what I'd call a Poland, because this was one of their good saws, and they made lots of good saws. It started out in pre-war World II, and they started making two-man saws, and then they got into one-man saws afterwards. And they were a big player in the market for a long time, mostly on the East Coast where they were made. And then they got bought out, and then they got cheapened up, and today they're like, you know, cheapo saws are their thing. So anyway, but you know, there's one thing I forgot. I need to think. I know what it is. Well, now isn't that a whole lot better? So anyway, we'll see what we can do with these. They might just be part saws if somebody needs something, but anyway, I'll go through them and make a decision. But like I say, you know, go back and watch one of our older videos, and is it Poland or Poolan? Then you'll know for sure what I'm talking about. So these saws, except for this one here, I think Dan and Andrew decided to pick on me and try to turn me into a Poland Pro. So we'll see what happens. So thank you, Andrew and Dan. You're both generous, kind people. So we'll see you soon on the next video. Remember, vintage is good.